Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make drop biscuits. The other day we did the recipe with the chicken and asparagus quiche, and we used some self-rising flour in it. And I thought, what are some of the other things I use self-rising flour for? And of course I said biscuits, which I make, quite often. For those of you that are not familiar with self-rising flour, it's simply just flour with baking powder already incorporated into it and some salt. Bakers use self-rising flour probably more than people that don't bake. In this recipe, we're using self-rising flour, but we're also going to put in the description how to make your own from at home. If you don't have self-rising flour on hand, it's just a cup of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. Anyway, self-rising biscuits. Biscuits are a delicious addition to any meal, from breakfast to brunch to supper. If anybody made me homemade biscuits, I would love them very, very much. So hopefully, if you make these for your family or people you love, they'll feel the same way. So easy. This is literally a 3-ingredient recipe. Couple basic tools that you're going to need. One of them are if you have a pastry cutter. That is the easiest way to do this. You're going to be working with very cold butter. If you don't have a pastry cutter, you certainly can do it. Do it with a fork, or you can even use a potato masher, but that does get your arm fatigued a bit. All right, so anyway, let me get to the ingredients. So what we're going to need is self-rising flour. This is a 5-pound bag. Go out and buy a 5-pound bag. It's very inexpensive, maybe $3.50. Maybe even less, depending upon where you live. And once you make this recipe once, I think you're going to make it several times. That's just my self-rising flour in a different container. Maybe make it a little bit easier to get it out without mess. Oh, I forgot one thing. The most important things is, of course, we need butter. So you're going to need a stick of butter, and I've just taken a stick of butter and cut it into cubes. I know all of you can figure out how to do that, so I figured I wouldn't waste your time with it. Then you're going to need some whole milk. Again, it's one of those things that the fat is really kind of needed to make these come out really yummy. You could use 2%. I wouldn't go less than 2%. All right, so let's see. We said our flour, our butter, our milk. That's 3 ingredients. Okay, let's get baking. All right, so what you want to do with your flour is, this is one of those recipes that you don't want to pack the flour in, all right? So from your container, take a spoon and just lightly spoon it into your measuring cup. Don't pack it in at all. Kind of bring it up about to the top. Maybe a little bit more. One more little scoop. And then kind of just, level it off. And you got your cup there. All right. Put it in your bowl. Do the same thing for your next cup. Why is it with flour? It's probably one of the reasons I don't like making rolled biscuits, good old Southern rolled biscuits, because the mess flour makes drives me crazy. I've never been able to make something with flour without it getting all over the place. And then you're vacuuming it up for the next week. So you just want to kind of slide it over, zoop, There you got your second cup. Let's switch to our fourth of a cup. It's probably going to take 2. Same thing. Slide it out a little bit. And you got your fourth cup. All right, we're done with our flour. So we'll get this out of our way. And our plate, we don't need any more. I did pretty good. Okay, so then we've got our flour in our bowl. All right, so we don't need the milk. Now, depending upon, I guess, the humidity and things like that can affect, you know, how much liquid you're going to need. You're going to need probably anywhere from 3/4 to 1 1/4 cups of milk. I find almost always 1 cup works. I don't pull the whole first cup in at once. You'll see, we'll do it kind of in a couple different times. So then you want to take your nice cold butter, distribute it around in your flour. And this is really the hardest part of making this, and that's cutting your flour into the butter. And that's, you know, going to take a little bit of time, a few minutes. Your end result is you want something that is kind of like a coarse cornmeal or, you know, coarse polenta or something of that nature. You'll see in a few minutes this will start to combine. So I find that if you take your rounded brush, you put it on the side of your bowl and drag it down, that keeps everything moving. And tap off your pastry cutter every once in a while. It's coming together. You can see you're starting to get a little bit of where we want it to be. That's why it's nice to have a pastry cutter with this, because like I said, if you're doing this with a fork, it does get, I don't know about you, but it starts to hurt my hand. Scrape that off a bit. Like I said, these go perfect with anything. Great with a stew. You know, great for just a biscuit with dinner. Or, like we're going to use, I'm going to make sausage and biscuits tomorrow, so I'll save these for tomorrow morning. Still see just a couple big lumps in there, so and there you pretty much have it. That's basically kind of how you want it to look. It's okay if there's a few little lumps here and there. You could also do this with your hands, which, you know, most people probably do. Of course, your hands are at 98 degrees and you're going to end up melting the butter a little bit. I guess the scientific reason behind the cold butter is that once you get these in the oven, it's going to, if it's cold, it's going to release some steam. So you're going to get a nice fluffy biscuit. Now I just rinse my hands. All right, so now the next big thing is adding your milk. All right, so you got your basically coarse flour and butter. And remember, we haven't added any salt to this because there's already salt in the flour. All right, so then I'm going to add probably about half of my milk and start to combine it. This is one of those batters you don't want to really overwork, or else I guess if you do, you're going to get a tough dough. This is going to be a very stiff dough. And like I said, try not to work it that much. See, we're definitely going to need, I'm going to put my whole cup in there because I'm sure it's going to need that. And you want to make sure you use a spoon or one of these wooden spatulas like I'm using. You don't want to use a whisk. See, that's just about perfect. You just want to kind of make sure everything is absorbed a little bit of the milk. And you want it to be that thick. All right. Believe it or not, that's ready to go. I love these little wooden spatulas. They were all the rage a little while ago. I don't even know who makes them anymore. Someone gave them to me as a Christmas gift. The only thing I don't like about it is you can't put it in the dishwasher. And I hate that. I'll tell you a secret. I put it in anyway. But it does start to crack the wood very quickly. And probably don't last as long as they would if you didn't put it in the dishwasher. All right, so there we've got our batter. Like I said, you want that nice thick batter. Even if it looks a little bit wet, you're good. All right. So then, no, you can do these in a cast iron pan if you want. I've done it both ways. I actually like the way it comes out a little bit better on a cookie sheet. In a cast iron pan, of course, they're really close together, and all the sides don't get really, really nice and brown and crispy. So, but either way, you're probably going to get about 8. I think I usually get about 8 or 9 biscuits out, depending on how big I make them. This is a 2-ounce scoop, okay, which works perfectly for this. If you don't have a 2-ounce scoop, do a large tablespoon, or probably about 1/4 of a cup per muffin, all right, or per biscuit. All right, so then you just want to fill your scoop up, scrape it a little bit flat, even, whatever you want to call it, all right? And then, so now we've got a sheet pan with parchment paper on it. Parchment paper probably isn't 100% necessary. There's a lot of fat in there, the butter, so, but I always find it's best to put it on a parchment paper. It comes off really easy. So then, just want to put your scoop down. And they are going to rise and up and out, so you can probably get about 3 on a row. And, again, you could make them a little bit bigger. I'm going for a little bit of consistency here. That's 3. A little bit more in there. 4. That's 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, and we're probably going to get 10. And I might even be able to, I don't think I'll be able to get an 11th. Nope, it's not going to be big enough. All right, so we got a little half of biscuit in there. All right, so then, now, very, very important. You saw how fast this went together. So you want to remember to preheat your oven to 450. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. It'll be in the directions. So because if we had to wait for this to throw it in our oven now, then all of our work of keeping our butter and milk cold is going to go to waste. So then you just take this, throw it in the middle rack, of course, in your oven. Now I've probably said this before, but I always wait 30 seconds, a minute before I start my timer because we've opened our oven at that point and we've let out some of the heat. So these biscuits are going to take anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes, depending upon how well your oven keeps the temperature consistent at 450. I'm going to set my timer for 18 minutes because to me that always seems to be about what they need. So, okay, Google, set a timer for 18 minutes.
Okay, 18 minutes.
Now, if you could resist, try not to open the door unless you smell them burning. But give it at least 10 minutes. If you don't have a light or a window in your oven to take a look at them, give it at least 10 minutes before you open the door because you don't want to let all that nice hot air out and let the steam out of the oven that's being created by the butter and the cold milk, the cold butter and the cold milk. So, hopefully, and you want to cook them until they're nice golden brown. So hopefully in about 18 minutes, we'll show you what they look like when they're golden brown. Okay, it's been 18 minutes and they look perfect to me. Okay, Google, stop. All right, so let's get them out. There they are, guys. Perfectly golden and brown, just the way you want them. They've risen nicely. Let's kind of move them over here. Now these you don't necessarily have to let cool down or anything before you remove them from the baking sheet. At this point, if so desired, a few minutes before they're done, you might want to melt a tablespoon or two of butter and then either drizzle it over the top with a spoon or brush it on. I'm not going to do that today because we're kind of watching our calories, although that little bit of butter wouldn't make all that much difference. But anyway, so then you could just take them and put them on your plate. Now, these of course are delicious right out of the oven. You'll notice that if you take them right out of the oven, you eat them, they kind of fall apart, or the minute you take a bite, they kind of fall apart in your mouth. If you let them cool a little bit, they'll hold together a little bit better. We're going to do a quick tasting on these for you all. But let's put them out on there. Put our sheet over there. And there you have it. Absolutely delicious biscuits. Now, this is just the basic recipe for these drop biscuits. Like as we did in the recipe, we used regular whole milk. You can use buttermilk, which would make them buttermilk biscuits. And really, this recipe lends itself to your imagination. You can add some dried thyme or rosemary in there, make them rosemary or thyme biscuits, all different kinds of varieties. If you'd like to see any other version of these, let us know, and we'd be happy to make it for you. There's an excellent one I make with cheese. All right, we'll be back in a few moments after these cool down a bit, and we'll do a little tasting and say goodbye. Hey everybody, we're back again. I just wanted to take a moment to look at those beautifully, hope you can get that in there, those beautifully golden brown, flaky, yummy biscuits. I'm telling you, if you've never made drop biscuits, make these, they're easy, you're going to love them. We're going to taste it today with one of our favorite ways to taste it was with a little tiny bit of butter, just a small amount, and some raspberry jam with a cup of tea. This just even makes a perfect breakfast. But tomorrow I'm going to make a nice sausage gravy, and we're going to have gravy and biscuits. Okay, I mean, what do you think? Listen, look at how flaky that is, almost all time. Can you hear the crunch?
It is nice and crunchy. Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Delicious.
Those are so good.
Wow, those are good.
I could eat all 8 or 10 of them. I won't, but I could. Tasty. Who would think 3 little ingredients could make something that's so good? Of course, if you want to make a bigger batch, just double the ingredients, same portions, just double it or triple it.
These are excellent.
Thank you. I'm glad you like them. All right, thank you so much for watching us, or watching this video. Thank you, honey, for making it or filming it. What else have we got to say? Wish you were all here with us having breakfast tomorrow morning, but besides it being COVID, still other reasons why. Hey, Joanne, I hope that you make these biscuits, and thank you so much for your support. Hopefully if you watch this video to the end, maybe next time I'll remember to say it in the beginning. All right, that's it. What should they do?
Yep, subscribe if you would like, and click the thumbs up button, and check out cherryhillhomecooking.com.
Ciao.
Bye.
Oh.